Third and final game against the Baltimore Orioles. Each team has won a game. Buck Showalter's Orioles losing 3-0 last night. Now it's time for the starting lineups. The starting lineup brought to you by TD Canada Trust. Banking can be this comfortable. J.J. Hardy's had a good game and a bad game so far in this series. 2 homers in game 1 of the series. Nick Markakis, Adam Jones. The DH is the veteran Vladimir Guerrero. Derek Lee, Matt Wieters, Mark Reynolds. Nolan Reimold is in left, and Robert Ignino returns to second base for the second time in this series, and they're set to take on Carlos Villanueva.
Orioles were shut out for the 6th time this month by the Blue Jays. Villanueva, Carlos Villanueva starts against Baltimore this year, has ended in victories 2 times when he was on the mound versus Orioles. He beat Baltimore on June the 3rd and then picked up a no decision on June the 14th. Villanueva is seeking his first win this month after a loss and 3 no decisions since the beginning of July.
They led the defense behind Villanueva. Different look in center field. Colby Rasmus at his first game in the American League in center field. He's flanked by Travis Snyder, Eric Thames, Escobar Hill up the middle, Bautista Lind at the corners, and J.P. Arancibia behind the plate for Carlos Villanueva.
There he is out in center field. He was here earlier today getting used to his surroundings with Torey Lovullo. And what a pickup. Chance to get a young player who plays in the middle of the diamond.
To give you an idea, Colby Rasmus was the #1 pick of the Cardinals in 2005, the 28th pick overall in the country. And twice he was named the Cardinals Minor League Player of the Year. This ball is driven deep to left field. Snyder looking up at the wall. This ball is gone. J.J. Hardy, his 3rd home run of the series, his 17th of the season. And the Orioles are out on top.
Since May the 21st, he leads all Major League shortstops in home run with 15 of them. And he has really gone crazy against the Blue Jay pitching. Fastball right down the middle, right into his swing path. And he hits it out of the ballpark, and the Orioles get on the board very quickly.
That's Hardy's 5th home run against the Blue Jays in his career, 3rd of this series. Nick Markakis, the right fielder. Blue Jays have handled Markakis well in this series. He has just 1 hit. Markakis is 1 for 8 in the series. Up and away.
The last time we saw Nick Markakis was the middle of June. And he was hitting 52 points lower than where he is right now. He has raised his average over his last 41 games, 52
There's
points.
a drive to right. That ball is deep enough, but it's hooking foul into the second deck. First inning, always a challenge for a starting pitcher to get down in the strike zone, to get the rhythm and timing of your release. And J.J. Hardy already with a home run, his 4th career leadoff home run. Markakis hits it to right. Thames over near the foul line, reaches up and makes the catch. 1 out.
Scouting report for Carlos Villanueva is brought to you by Home Hardware. Homeowners helping homeowners. He's got 4 quality pitches: a fastball, curveball, slider, and a changeup, and he has a very smart approach. He won't blow you away with his fastball, but he's a very heady pitcher. Just has to find a way. He had a streak snapped of at least 6 innings his last time out at Texas when he only went 5 2/3. That streak was 7 straight games of at least 6 innings.
Adam Jones, the center fielder, rips on the first pitch and pulls it foul. The Orioles have come out aggressive here in the first inning against Villanueva. Jones is just 1 for 5 against the Blue Jays right-hander. 18 homers, 60 RBI, playing in his 100th game.
Pitching here at Rogers Center has not been a lot of fun for Carlos Villanueva so far this year. His record 0-1 with an ERA of about 6. Much better on the road. Better ERA, better record. Just needs to limit the base runners. You see the whip at 1.5. Just too many base runners.
Pitching out of the stretch when you have all those base runners, you're not going to be as effective. Adam Jones has been swinging a hot bat of late. 5 home runs in his last 11 games. Home run total for the season up to 18.
Just one off of his career high, which he set last year.
J.J. Hardy with the solo home run to lead off the ball game. Mentioned Villanueva has established a new career high in starts during a season. His previous high was 9 with the Milwaukee Brewers. Also closing in on his career high of innings pitched. Jones gets jammed. Bautista wide of third. Ball in the dirt. Scoop by Adam Lind, as he always does, and Bautista acknowledges the good effort on the other end.
He's getting pretty adept at taking that ball on the short hop and just digging it out. Bautista keeps his feet moving, and then the ball sinks on him. But Lynn stays right with that one. And Bautista, like you said, acknowledges his first baseman, who picks him up and says, "Thank you very much."
No problem. You can see they're both laughing about it. Hey, just seeing if you were paying attention early in the game. Vladdy Guerrero, a deep drive, high and deep, but foul into the upper deck. Wow. Orioles have come out swinging.
Well, watch where the pitch is. High and in the inner half. His fastball's very straight right now here in the first inning. Villanueva usually has a little bit of a sink on his fastball to keep the ball in the ballpark.
It's obviously a concern that Villanueva is getting up in innings. First full-time opportunity to start since he was with Milwaukee. Pushing that ball and got underneath.
Looks like he's trying to air it out here in the first inning because his fastball just isn't there. Here's his number in 3 games, a couple of starts versus the Orioles. Carlos is more of a touch and feel type of pitcher. He's got to get a feel for his breaking ball and his changeup.
Guerrero, this one is high and deep to left. Snyder near the wall at the track. This ball is gone. Vladdy Guerrero with the second home run of the inning, his 8th of the season. He just pulled one foul into the 5th deck on the first pitch of the at-bat, and he kept this one fair.
A couple of high fastballs from Villanueva, then he tries to get Guerrero to swing at a changeup, but it's up, and watch how Guerrero keeps his hands back. The weight is there, and he one-hands it into the bullpen in left field. Guerrero's 8th home run of the season.
He made a good point about Villanueva. He's done a pretty good job of keeping the ball in the ballpark. That's just the 6th and 7th home runs he's given up this season.
But he's a fly ball pitcher. You look at all his splits, and between ground balls and fly balls, many more in the air than on the ground.
Derek Lee had a big 4-hit night in the opener, including a 2-run home run. He drove in 5 in game 1 of the series. Drives this ball to center field. Rasmus rides back in front of the warning track. He's got room, and Lee's retired, and the Orioles are out in the first, but they scored 2 on 2 home runs. Colby Rasmus, his first at bat, coming back here to Rogers Center. first at bat as an American leaguer. Blue Jays are at even 500. Escobar, Rasmussen, Bautista top third in the order. Adam Lind, Encarnacion, Eric Thames, Hill, Snyder, and Aaron Seavey. The interesting thing about this lineup, it is as balanced as you can get. Right, left, all the way through the lineup.
The Army lineup right there. Right, left, right, left. Tonight's starting pitchers brought to you by Tim Hortons Original Biscuit Breakfast Sandwich, now with hickory smoked ham. Brad Bergeson is looking to win back-to-back starts for the first time since last September. He was very impressive his last time out, giving up just 2 runs on 6 hits in 6 innings. That was a 3-2 win against the Los Angeles Angels. He hadn't won since May the 14th. Going 0-2 in 10 games, including 3 starts since then.
You know, Escobar takes a first pitch strike. Escobar has been on a tear, average up to 310. And you look at him every time he gets on base, gets something going. There's a little flare down the right field line. This is trouble. That's a fair ball. Bounces out of play. A ground rule double. Once again, Escobar starts things off by getting on base.
Center fielder number 28, Colby Rasmus.
Pretty good reception for Colby Rasmus, his first at bat in the Blue Jays uniform. 246 for the season, and he went through a terrible stretch at the end of May. 54 games. He hit just over 180 over the course of those 54 ball games. Swings at the first pitch and pops it up. J.J. Hardy, the shortstop. He's there. Rasmus is retired. Colby Rasmus is very pleased to be here. Talked about how he wants a fresh start, get a chance to start his career anew.
Sitting in a good spot in the lineup, I think also. John Farrell looked at that on-base percentage of .332. It was over .360 last year, and thinks he fits in ideally in that number 2 spot.
Rasmus mentioned the fact that he's hitting in front of Bautista and how that might be an asset for him to get off to a decent start. 1 out, Bautista. Takes one down and away. Jose Bautista has done some damage against Brad Bergeson. He's 7 for 15 with a pair of homers. Out on the outside corner. Last 15 games, a 327 right average, right where he is for the season. He's hitting 328 over the course of the season.
Orioles have really stayed away from Jose Bautista. When you wrap out some of those numbers you were just talking about, what I have noticed in this series is soft stuff away. They have really made him try and pull the ball, go out there and reach for it. Nothing on the inner half.
You can see Matt Waiters, the catcher, is set up straddling the outside corner. Ferguson focused on keeping that ball away from Jose Bautista. Breaking ball. This is where this balance in the lineup is really beneficial to John Farrell. He's got Adam Lind on deck, and Lind has worn out the Orioles this season. Left, right. You mess around with Bautista, you're going to deal with some pop from the left side.
I think where it really helps also late in the game. A close game, the opposing manager wants to try and do something for matchups with his bullpen. When you have that ability to go back and forth from the left to the right, you can't just keep bringing in the same guy.
You can see this part of the lineup has always been a problem for Brad Bergeson. Bautista with 7 hits, Lind with 6 hits, and they've done a lot of damage. 3 home runs combined. There's the walk. Bautista takes the walk, and Lind will bat with 2 on.
It sets up nicely when you've got a very patient hitter with a good on-base percentage like Jose Bautista. He knew that they were nibbling against him, so he will just pass the baton and give Adam Lind a crack at it.
82nd walk of the season. Bautista's at first, Escobar's at second for Adam Lind. 19 home runs for the season. Great bounce back year for him. He's hitting .290. A year ago, hit just .237. Looks at the first pitch strike. Then had some power, but the power came late in the season. He was really messed up. His timing was off all year long. He's adjusted his stance. He's stayed a little more upright. And now he's driving the ball to all fields.
Really wrapped the bat last year and had a long way to go to get it from its starting position to trying to hit the ball out in front. Certainly no problem against the Orioles this year. 6 homers, 11 RBIs to go along with 6 walks. But that's the type of adjustments that you make as your career goes along.
Not inside. Then thought it might have been off the plate inside. He was pretty much locked into the outer half of the plate. 1-2. 1 out. Escobar hit the ground rule doubles at second. Bautista walked his 82nd walk of the season. Orioles have taken a 2-0 lead.
Well, what you have to do with Brad Bergeson is make him get the ball up. He's a sinker slider type of pitcher who likes to stay at the bottom part of the strike zone. He'll get a lot of ground ball outs. As a hitter, you got to make him bring it up.
Good cut at that ball. Foul back off the screen. We've seen so many more good swings from Adam Lind this year. Last year he was feeling for the baseball, just trying to almost wish himself a hit.
You know, it was almost like he was guessing on every single pitch. And he would, at least last year, watching him hit it, looked like he was guessing wrong. But this year he has been locked in and hit the ball really well.
Good cut at that pitch, and Bergeson got away with one there. That was a high cutter.
Ball up. And he was ready to jump on it.
These two teams hit 6 homers in the opener of the series. Baltimore hit 4. Blue Jays connected 2. That's a season high for the Blue Jays for home runs in a game by both teams. Squibbed off the end of the bat. JP Arencibia hit a home run in last night's game. That was the only long ball last night. Arencibia's 16th of the season. Quite a battle going on here. Lind has hit Bergeson well. 6 for 15 for his career. Bouncing ball. Derek Lee backs up, bobbles it. Lind will be safe at first. Well, you mentioned it, Pat. Anytime you see an infielder backing up, he's in trouble.
Especially a team that has not played on the turf as much as the Blue Jays have. If the Tampa Bay Rays come in here and their infielders back up, you can understand it because they play on the turf. The Orioles play on natural grass, and Lee had all kind of problems with that. Backed up, had it, and then when he went to throw it to the pitcher, dropped it.
Now the bases are loaded, and we're only a grand slam away from awarding a 70-inch Sharp Aquos Quattron TV. To enter, visit hitahomerunwithsharp.ca. Edwin Encarnacion certainly has home run power. The Blue Jays would love to erase that 2-0 deficit right off the bat.
Jays had a lot of opportunities in last night's game to get add-on runs, and they just could not come up with the big base hit. And this might be the right guy in the right spot here. 2-0 count, no place to put him. Ferguson's got to come into him.
He got his pitch. Fastball center cut, fouled it straight back. 3 grand slams in his career, but more importantly, a great average. Blue Jays have hit 3 slams so far this season. Arencibia, Hill, and Lind have all gone deep with the bases loaded.
You know what you can't do with the bases loaded is really extend your swing and try and overswing. Those last 2 swings by Encarnacion, he was overswinging, trying to hit an extra base hit. Extra base hits and home runs come by putting a good swing on the ball. Now he's got to figure out how to get these runs in.
Full count. So Bergeson in the jam early on. Escobar started things off with a ground rule double down the right field line. Bautista took a walk, and Lynn reached on the air by the first baseman. 3-2. Bases loaded, walk. Blue Jays answer right back. They've cut the deficit in half. Encarnacion picks up his 26th RBI of the season. Nick Adair, the pitching coach, will come out and try to coax Bergeson back into the strike zone. 24 pitches already.
Usually Bergeson is around the plate, so a couple of walks in the first inning are very rare. His last 4 starts, 1 and 2 with an ERA over 7. Again, he was much better his last time out. 2 runs on 6 hits in 6 innings over the Los Angeles Angels. Has not won since May the 14th, an ERA over 7 in 10 games. In that game against the Angels, his last time out, he threw 80 pitches, 53 of them for strikes. So he'll be around the plate, but so far tonight, just a tad wild.
Already, this is an opportunity Eric Thames hasn't had too often because he was in the second spot. Now he's got the bases loaded with just 1 out. And he's not timid about swinging.
No. He will let it go.
Last 4 games, he's been swinging a hot bat. He's had a double, a triple. He's driven in 2. He's got a chance to give the Jays the lead.
Situational hitting, I think, is very important, especially for young players. They have to learn how to get these runs in from third base with less than 2 outs. If you've got ducks on the pond like that, and you are in the hole 0-2, you've got to figure out a way to get them in.
There's a drive to right field. Markakis is back. He catches it. Bautista tags at third. Thames does his job. He has tied it up here in the first inning. Sac fly to right. It's a 2-2 game.
And he did figure out how to get them in. Orioles have been punching him inside with fastballs, figuring that he would swing right through it. Bergeson went back there, but Thames shortened up just a little bit. Got enough on it. Just a fly ball to right field. RBI number 21.
Put the ball in play. Got a chance to drive in a run. If he hits it 2 feet higher, he drives in 3. Aaron Hill goes after the first pitch breaking ball. Was this ball foul? Been a real struggle for Hill of late. Hitting just 148. Carlos Villanueva gave up 2 solo home runs in the first inning, but already he's back into a tie ball game. Aaron Hill hits it to third. Reynolds will go for the force at second. Blue Jays are retired. They scored 2 runs on 1 hit, but they have tied it for Villanueva. Chicago White Sox in the Frazier Zach Stewart trade. Tien is, for the time being, a utility player. He's played third base, he's played in the outfield, he's played some first base, and interesting guy for his pro contract. He signed with the Oakland Athletics.
He was a sandwich pick, 39th overall in 2002 by Oakland, traded to Kansas City, and then traded from Kansas City to the White Sox in 09. He's battled some injury problems over the last few years, but when he's healthy, he's got pop in his bat. 18 home runs one year with Kansas City, another year of 15.
Mark Tien is of a Canadian background. His father is Canadian, grew up in St. Mary's, Ontario, and with that, Mark Tien played for Canada in the World Baseball Classic. Played in a couple games.
He's a veteran, 7th year now in the big leagues, and a chance late in the game that you have a go-to guy if you need a pinch hit. You've got Rajay Davis now on the bench, and he can come and do some things offensively. You've got Mark Tien, who can swing the bat off the bench from the left side.
Right back to the end of waiver. Matt Waiters, the catcher, is retired. Ben Wade was up in that first inning. Obviously, give up a couple of solo home runs. One home run to J.J. Hardy and one to Vladimir Guerrero. Markakis hit the ball hard, as did Derek Lee, but he has a fresh start now in this 2-2 game.
It looked like he was trying to establish the fastball in the first inning, and we were talking off air after that first inning. If you can't get that ball down, what do? You go soft. You go soft and forget about establishing it in the first inning.
Some of our best TV is off air. But you're right. If you're trying to establish your fastball and you're not getting it where you want, just go with the off-speed stuff. And he certainly has enough pitches to do so.
Certainly. He's got 4 quality pitches. There's one of them right there, a good breaking ball. And if you don't want to establish that in the first inning, you can always do it in the second or the third.
And two, he needs some help from his young catcher when things aren't working. Sometimes as a pitcher, you don't recognize what the problem is. I've had pitchers tell me after an inning, boy, that was a pretty good pitch. And I said, what are you talking about? That was 3 feet from your target. But they're throwing the pitch, they're falling off the mound, they have a different perspective than the catcher.
You have the best seat in the house right there. Feel from where the ball is, how it's coming in, and what it feels like when you catch it.
Line to third. Umpire at third base, Bruce Dreckman, calls Reynolds out on the line drive. Bautista caught it and then popped it up in the air. Caught it with his bare hand, but just in case threw it across the diamond.
He's such a good athlete. His reactions are tremendous at third base. Stayed right with that hooking ball off the bat of Reynolds. And just for good measure across the diamond to make sure.
Yeah, you don't want to turn around and ask the umpire, hey, did I catch it? They got to be running down the first baseline. Nolan Reimold back in the lineup tonight. He did not start last night against Ricky Romero, the left-hander. Buck Showalter opted to put in a couple of left-handed hitters, Felix Piet and Blake Davis against Romero. Oops, excuse me, Tapper. Hill comes after it and bobbles it. An easy play, and to his credit, Reimold always busted down the first base line. There was no chance for Hill to recover.
Error number 6 on the season. Plenty of time, like you said. It just, I don't know, did it hit his bare hand before it went into the glove? He just tried to close it too quickly and knocked it away. So the inning continues.
2 outs now for Robert Andino. Andino, the second baseman. Andino hit 2 doubles in the Tuesday night game. Scored 2 runs and drove 1 in. Orioles have played most of the year without Brian Roberts. He's their everyday all-star second baseman. He's been battling a multitude of injuries. He's dealt with concussion issues. He's had neck problems. He's had disc problems. And Andino's played an awful lot this year.
The last few years, he has really battled a lot of the injuries, not just this one. And I remember when he got hurt this year with the concussion, he was put on that 7-day concussion list. And there's talk of he'll be back very soon. It's been a couple of months. And he is experiencing migraine headaches now after trying to work out.
Andino off the end of the bat, and that'll be a foul ball. Top of the second inning in a 2-2 ball game. Nolan Raimo reached on the air by the second baseman. Buck Showalter's gone through a tough stretch. He joined the team last year and really sparked them. They played well down the stretch over the last 57 games. They had one of the best records in baseball, but it's been a different story this season. They are 41-59. They're 9 games behind the Blue Jays. Andino hits it into center field. That'd get down in front of Rasmus.
Jays on Rogers Sportsnet, brought to you by your local independently owned home hardware or home hardware building center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
The air by Aaron Hill has kept the inning alive. Nolan Raimo now at second. Andino is at first. And J.J. Hardy, who's already homered in this game, is standing in the box.
Well, it's been a home run or a strikeout in this series for J.J. Hardy. Ricky Romero got him 4 times yesterday on breaking balls. Romero had a good curveball in last night's ball game. Hardy struck out 4 times after hitting 2 home runs in the first game.
Pops this one up. Hill backs into the shallow right field area, makes the catch, and the Orioles strand a pair. So Villanueva pitches out of the 2-out air, strands 2. Going to get a little information from the unofficial captain of this team, Jose Bautista, talking about possibly what he saw the first time up. Rasmus only saw 1 pitch. He popped it up to the shortstop. But Bautista, the consummate teammate, sharing some information to his newest team member. Travis Snyder looks at a breaking ball. He is down into the 8th spot in the lineup. Snyder's had a tough series. 4 strikeouts in last night's game. 6 in the series so far. He's just 1 for 8 with 6 strikeouts, and he has had a tough stretch. And he's in a hole 0-2. What do you see differently now than we saw when Travis first came back to the ball club?
I think a lot of it starts with 2 things. Make sure his legs are underneath him. He's hit out of that open stance, which has helped. And then the arms, when he came back up, he looked more like he was using his hands. The swing was a little bit shorter. Now it's a little bit longer, almost like trying to hit the ball so hard, and that just creates slower bat, a longer swing.
Pokes this one. That's a fair ball. Reynolds won't have a play. Travis Snyder, little tapper down the third base line, ends up with an infield hit to start the second.
And when things aren't going your way, any type of hit is going to help. Sinker down and away, stays on it, breaks his bat, but you can see how far off the line Reynolds is playing. Gets to it, or this would have been a double for Snyder. Recognizing that that ball is going to stay fair, and that's an infield single.
Catcher J.P. Arancibia. 1 for 4 last night. That one hit was a home run. Deep drive to left center. J.P. leads the American League catchers in home runs. Pretty good production, 43 RBI in 78 games. Pops this ball out of play, 1-1.
He leads all AL catchers in the homers. He's also second in extra base hits. And there are the numbers that you were just talking about. These are catchers. The power behind the plate. Carlos Santana, Miguel Olivo. These are just home runs for players while they were catching in the game.
Carlos Santana has played first base. He has 15 home runs for the season, but just 11 as a catcher. Looked like Travis Snyder was thinking about running there. A little delay dive back into the bag at first.
Snyder has the green light. One of the players on the Blue Jays starting lineup that has the green light. He runs well.
John Farrell has elected to give the green light to selected players if they have the good judgment to steal and steal at a high percentage. He'll continue to let them run. Rajay Davis, Aaron Hill, I'm sure has it. He's been very successful. High rate of steals.
Hill might be their best base runner. When you watch him getting jumps and reading the pitcher, he had a jump the other day on a hit and run where he was halfway between first and second by the time the ball got to home plate. It's only been thrown out a couple of times this year.
Popped up into shallow right field. Nick Markakis has a long run, but he'll get there. And Arancibia is retired. For every home run Toronto hits in today's game, you can win amazing prizes from Sharp, including Canada's largest LCD TV, a 70-inch Sharp Aquos. Enter online at hitahomerunwithsharp.ca. Sharp makes bigger, better. Ah, that's a great fan. Happy to come out and support the old hometown team. I like bringing the young fans to the ballpark, and we're going to see more of them. This team is on the decline as far as average age, and you're going to create a lot of young fans. How many times did you ask the daily question today?
Which one?
When are we going to see Brett Laurie?
Oh, that one. Oh, guys, there's so many. I didn't ask it any time today.
Yeah, and I kind of asked it just kind of a sideways ask. I said, well, when Colby Rasmus here, you're getting younger, and when Laurie gets here, you'll really get young. That ball is driven deep to right field. Markakis on the run. It's slicing away from him, but he stays with it and makes the catch. Escobar gave it a ride to the deepest part of the right field corner, but Markakis ran it down.
Such a good outfielder is Nick Markakis. He plays angles well. He positions himself well. This ball is slicing away from him, and you've got to run right through that ball, which he does, and takes away a hit from Escobar. 2 down.
Just remember how far he ran in against the pop-up of Arancibia, and then he goes the opposite direction to the corner to take extra bases away from Escobar. Colby Rasmus popped up to the shortstop his first time up. Not a bad idea with 2 outs. Cut the third baseman back. Bautista's on deck. Good base runner at first. Everything was in his favor.
Not a bad idea. Just like Colby Rasmus does not know the pitcher and what he throws. He can get a scouting report, but just doesn't have an idea right now. The Orioles don't know that much about Rasmus.
Ball is hit off the end of the bat. Adam Jones comes in, and the Blue Jays are retired here in the second. We played 2 complete here at Rogers Center. It's a tie ball game. Bobblehead Days coming up on Sunday, July 31st. Blue Jays will take on the Texas Rangers. The game starts at 1:07 p.m. The first 20,000 fans will receive a Roberto Alomar Hall of Fame bobblehead. For tickets, call the Blue Jays directly at 416-341-1234. Log on to BlueJays.com, where you can stop by most Rogers Plus locations and pick up your tickets for Roberto Alomar Bobblehead Day. It's Hall of Fame Day here at Rogers Center. A lot of Roberto's former teammates will be on hand. John McDonald will be giving a speech representing the current ball club, and it's a great honor for John. He was thrilled to be asked to do that, and he was very pleased to be able to go out there and talk about his former teammate.
When he came up with the Cleveland Indians, there was Robbie Alomar. When he first came up, he asked him if he had a place to stay, and he didn't. So he said, John, if you want to stay with me, feel free. So he spent some time living with Robbie, so he knows him really well.
Had a chance to live with Roberto Alomar, watch him work on a daily basis, and of course watch the great Omar Vizquel as well. Nick Markakis lines it into center. Colby Rasmus is there, makes an easy play of it.
You know, you're bound to learn something if you pay attention and watch those great players like that, Hall of Fame type players. Rasmus comes in and makes this play look easy, catches it about thigh high. But all you have to do when you're around great players, just watch how they prepare themselves for a game.
They're great for a reason. Great preparation, great work habits, know how to prepare for a game. Adam Jones grounded to third in his first at bat. Villanueva has now pitched 92 innings this season for the Blue Jays. Jays have 2 months to go basically to the season. There are 58 games left on their schedule. Villanueva's career high in innings pitched was 114 with the Milwaukee Brewers. So that's going to be a concern for John Farrell. Just see how many innings that he can keep Villanueva fresh and effective.
The philosophy of the organization is what you threw last year, no more than 20% added on to what you did the previous year. He had 114 innings last year, plus 20%, so you had about 22 innings. So you're looking at 135, 140. 140 innings this year for Carlos Villanueva, and he's at 94.
Adam Jones skies it to left field. Escobar's calling for it. Now Snyder takes over and makes the catch.
It's Canada's best-selling car 13 years in a row. Honda, the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Two outs. Vladimir Guerrero has already homered tonight. His 8th home run of the season came in the first inning. Villanueva is still not in a real good spot in the strike zone, trying to go down that pitch, and he got it up in the danger zone to Guerrero. Mind you, it's a big danger zone to Vladdy Guerrero.
From his shoe tops to his helmet.
He had a shoulder high fastball in the first inning into the 5th deck, just fine. Bruce Walton, the pitching coach, really watches the mechanics of his pitchers. This ball is lined to right. Thames is right there. Good inning for Carlos Villanueva. At 1, 2, 3, third.
Ferguson, so the scouting report on the right-hander. He's a sinker-slider type of pitcher. 92 with his sinker, about 84 with his slider. He's got a swing-and-miss changeup that the Blue Jays are going to have to make him get up in the strike zone. And when he's on, he'll induce the ground ball out. He's got good sinking, good tailing action to all of his pitches, and that helps him get the ball on the ground.
Pat Ferguson's wife is expecting their first child any moment. He wasn't really sure if he was going to be able to make this start tonight. A little cut fastball just off the end of the bat. Bautista walked in the first inning, his 82nd walk of the season. He does a tremendous job of passing the baton, not trying to expand and trying to inflate his own personal numbers, just making sure he hits strikes.
And we've talked about him improving on his numbers from last year.
Hot shot gloved by Reynolds. One out.
What can you do to be better? Last year, he had 100 walks right on the nose. That's another number that we haven't talked about, that he's going to surpass his career high that he set last year.
Well, it's remarkable that he would do all of that and improve upon his offensive season from a year ago with all the attention he has created for himself.
Remember when he was the leadoff hitter?
Yeah.
Last year? I mean, it seems funny to think about it right now.
He was the leadoff hitter first part of the season until they acquired Fred Lewis on April 15th. Cito Gaston didn't have anyone better suited to lead off than Jose Bautista, and because of that, he changed his stroke. He was thinking about taking walks and getting on base. I mean, you talk about situations, and obviously the conversation has been all about Colby Rasmus today and how things kind of fell apart for him in St. Louis. How about if Bautista, first and foremost, doesn't come to Toronto? But how about if the Blue Jays don't get Fred Lewis? Bautista might have to be the leadoff hitter all year long.
Yeah, I never thought about that. But you're right. He was a different type of hitter and started hitting home runs. And Cito Gaston said, I need his bat in the middle of the lineup. And after they got Lewis, that's when he really took off.
So I believe there's truly a spot for everybody. No matter who you are or whether you have problems with a former team or a former manager, there's a good fit for everyone. And it's imperative that the general manager find those good fits. Cito Gaston had a young player come to Toronto from the Angels named Devon White. He came with some baggage. Cito met with him and said, you're my center fielder. You're going to hit leadoff. I don't care how you hit. I just want you to hit first in the order. And Devon White turned into a Gold Glove all-star center fielder. Ball is driven to center field. Adam Jones breaking it down. He'll make the catch just short of the warning track. There are 2 outs here in the third. Let's check in quickly with Jamie Campbell. Well, the Giants got their man, Ryan Sabian, targeted a bat. They got a good one in Carlos Beltran. Edwin Encarnacion takes the ball. Your thoughts on Cito Gaston and the impact of Devon White?
You know, it's interesting that you talk about that, Devon White coming over here, because I was here. And I remember when he first got here, he said, you're going to hit leadoff. I don't care what you do, just be yourself. Doesn't that sound familiar about some guy that the Blue Jays just picked up to play center field again?
Yeah. John Farrell had a meeting with him, as did Alex Anthopoulos, and said, we don't want to know about what happened or why things went sideways in St. Louis.
But we believe in you as a player. We think you've got talent. We've recognized that. Just go out and be yourself. Just play the game of baseball. And forget about all that other stuff. Blue Jays were a recipient a long time ago of the same thing that happened in Texas when Tom Henke was there as a relief pitcher for the Rangers. Doug Rader, for some reason, did not like him. He was the manager. And they ended up coming here. And when I heard that they had a problem with him, bad guy, I'm like, there must be another Tom Henke.
Different Tom Henke than the one we know, for sure. Pretty special opportunity for Colby Rasmus, and he seems to be very pleased about getting a fresh start. Edwin Encarnacion bounces foul. Oh, Yunel Escobar is a similar situation, and I played for Bobby Cox. You know Bobby Cox. He's a great manager, going to the Hall of Fame, but Escobar and Cox, they didn't mesh. And Escobar has been a consummate professional here. Alex Anthopoulos' standards are, if he's a good person, we can deal with it.
How about all the negativity you heard about Brett Lawrie in the minor leagues? I'm like, are you kidding me? It's not the guy we saw this spring.
No, and like I said, I think everybody has a good fit. I think there's a good fit for everyone, and this has been a great fit for Yunel Escobar. Great opportunity for Carlos Villanueva. First-time manager John Farrell has a good understanding. He's worked with kids in the minor leagues in his previous position with the Cleveland Indians as the director of minor league operations. Edwin Encarnacion gives it a ride to left center. This ball is gone. Home run number 8 for the Blue Jays. DH Edwin Encarnacion.
You know what? Brad Ferguson was playing with fire with Encarnacion. His first time up, he had the bases loaded. He kept giving him fastballs, and Encarnacion kept fouling him off before he ended up walking. This time, fouled off a couple of pitches that were very hittable. And then finally this. Watch where this one is, right down Broadway. Encarnacion is a low ball hitter. And you got him right into the swing plane. He's so strong.
Blue Jays lead it 3-2. Encarnacion getting some regular at bats, and his stroke has come around.
He is not going to miss those pitches very often.
He had an awful lot of good swings during that at bat and finally squared one up. Eric Thames drives this one down the left side. Nolan Reimold on the run, and that is a foul ball. Right down in the corner. Thames has dropped down into the 6th spot in the order with the addition of Kobe Rasmus in the 2 spot. Eric Thames has been bumped down a little bit. I think it'll be a good opportunity for him to drive in a few runs. He's already picked one up tonight with a sac fly, and he drives this ball to right. Forget about this one. Eric Thames has just gone deep. Number 5 for the Blue Jays right fielder.
And it doesn't take them long to get around the bases. 6 times now the Blue Jays have gone back-to-back this year. Encarnacion and now Eric Thames. Orioles trying to pitch him in. He had a sacrifice fly last time on a ball that was in, and it is the same result this time. He gets his hands through, the bat through, and it's no doubt that that ball is going to leave the yard.
Second RBI of the night for Eric Thames. He's up to 22. Aaron Hill ducks back from an inside breaking ball.
I agree with you about Thames is going to drive in some runs. He has an idea at the plate. He can hit with men on base. He'll strike out every now and then, but I think, you know, that will go down once he learns the league. And if you make a mistake, he can leave on you.
He still swings at a lot of bad pitches because he doesn't know the league. And as you mentioned, when he knows the league and he recognizes pitches, he's going to be able to lay off those pitches he's chasing right now. And when he gets to the point where he's hitting nothing but strikes, look out.
27 home runs last year, over 100 RBIs in Double-A.
Aaron Hill takes a 2-out walk. Ferguson got the first 2 hitters, Bautista and Lind, and then give up back-to-back home runs to Encarnacion and Thames. And Buck Showalter is on the phone
quickly.
Now he recognizes the Blue Jays' power, the pop they have in this lineup, and he knows that the Orioles have had a tough time playing in this ballpark.
How about the potential for power of the 8-9 hitters tonight?
Snyder and Aaron Sevilla. Travis Snyder had an infield hit his first time up. Way off the plate. J.P. Aaron Sevilla homered in last night's game. He has homered in 4 times in his previous 4 games coming into tonight's game. Left-hander Mark Hendrickson, former Blue Jay, starts to loosen up for the Orioles. Hendrickson worked an inning in the first game of this series. It's the 9th inning, a 1-2-3 night, starting to crank it up. Here's Buck Showalter's long man, and here we are in the 3rd inning, and he's already made the call to the bullpen. Snyder is late on that fastball. How about the Tampa Bay Rays? The last couple of nights, they have called up 2 different pitchers just specifically to pitch in one game, and then they go back to the minors. Today they called up a 3rd relief pitcher. Their starting pitching has been rocked, so their bullpen has really been overused.
Hard to believe. We've been talking about how their starting pitching is some of the best in the American League.
1-2, 2 outs. Snyder gets his second hit of the night. Aaron Hill. He's going to test the arm of Adam Jones. The throw to third. Not in time. Good job by Aaron Hill right into the face of the Gold Glover, Adam Jones, and he beats the throw to third.
The throw looked like it beat him. But I think Mark Reynolds, the third baseman, dropped the ball. Let's see. Here comes the throw from Jones. It's a one-hop and a good throw. Down low, that's right. It just came right out of the glove of Reynolds. One hop, and he just can't corral it, and Hill is going to be safe as the ball is laying right on top of the ground.
Reynolds never really got a hold of the baseball, and Bruce Druckman, the umpire at third, right on top of the play and saw the ball laying on the ground. First and third, Snyder with his second hit of the night. It sets the table for J.P. Arancibia. 75 pitches already, and they're just 2 outs here in the third inning. It's the 7th time the Blue Jays have hit multiple home runs in an inning. Last time they did that was 3rd of July against Philadelphia. They've hit 3 home runs in an inning twice also in that Philadelphia game. That was the 8th inning of the Cliff Lee start on Sunday. Thames, Bautista, and Encarnacion homered in the 8th inning off Cliff Lee. Bergeson's not long for this ball game. Had a good start to the inning, retired the tough hitters Bautista and Lind, and then Encarnacion. Thames went deep back to back. Walked Hill and gave up a hit to Travis Snyder. It's been a tough stop on the tour for the Orioles. Over the last 30 meetings, they've won just 4 games.
Look at the home runs that the Blue Jays have hit compared to the Orioles in the 30 games that they have played here at Dodger Center. Batting average, runs per game, everything tilted the Blue Jays' way. And they've won so many different ways.
And Sebia tried to check his swing and went too far.
Adam Lind had a walk-off home run against Koji Uehara earlier this year.
Well, he has loved hitting against the Orioles. This is a pretty good stretch for Adam Lind in his schedule. Texas, Baltimore, Texas. Those 2 teams he really wears out. And Texas will be in tomorrow night, 3-game series. And right now the Rangers are scuffling. Hard to imagine after the way they were swinging the bats against the Blue Jays last weekend. And Sebia, fair ball down the left field line. Hill comes in to score. Travis Snyder is getting the way. J.J. Hardy, the relay to the plate. Wieters can't hold on to it. Snyder scores. Good throw from J.J. Hardy. Matt Wieters couldn't handle the shortstop, and Snyder scores all the way from first.
Well, the runner, the ball were going to meet Matt Wieters all at the same time. And the aggressive slide by Snyder scores the 4th run of the inning. J.P. Arancibia with RBIs 44 and 45 rips the ball inner half right down the left field line, and it skips all the way into the corner. And that allows Snyder to come around from first base.
6-2 Blue Jays.
Here is the slide at the plate. They are going to send him. Brian Butterfield sends him. The short hop, it was going to be a collision, but when he can't come up with the short hop, pulled off of it a bit, Jays have another run.
Travis Snyder, showing his football background, had loaded up the big shoulder for Matt Wieters, but Wieters never came up with the baseball. Junel Escobar is in the hole 0-2. Blue Jays have added 4 runs here in the third. They've taken a 6-2 lead. All coming with 2 outs and nobody on. Ferguson wants to talk things over with Matt Wieters. This is where that balance in the lineup really is challenging for the visiting team, because you've got lefty righty. So you bring Mark Hendrickson in, there's real no disadvantage for the Blue Jays. Escobar, big hop for the shortstop, J.J. Hardy. And the Blue Jays are retired here in the third, but they put up 4 runs. Back-to-back home runs by Encarnacion and Thames. For Edwin, number 8. For Thames, number 4. Number 5, a deep shot. Sportsnet will bring you courtside for unprecedented cross-platform coverage live from Montreal and Toronto. The Rogers Cup, presented by National Bank, August 8th to the 12th. Great tennis action on Rogers Sportsnet. Carlos Villanueva has been staked to a 4-run lead as he starts off the 4th inning with a strike to the Orioles first baseman Derek Lee. Still really hasn't had that good delivery with his fastball. He's kind of pushing that fastball to the plate tonight, and it's been up.
Yeah, it certainly has. He hasn't been able to throw it where he wants to. Also, and that will complement his curveball and changeup if he can spot that ball down. That wasn't too shabby right there.
Grant Bergeson, obviously he's got a lot on his mind. His wife is expecting their first child literally at any moment. And he's had a tough start to his night. Derek Lee into center. Colby Rasmus glides over, makes an easy play. 1 out. Let's take a look at the Farm Report, and you talk about young talent. How about the night for Brett Lawrie last night? 3 for 4 with 2 home runs last night as Las Vegas beat Reno. He's at .457 in his last 8 games played. He leads the Pacific Coast League in slugging and OPS.
And we heard today that he made a couple of nice defensive plays where he had to leave his feet and make the plays. So his whole game is starting to come around.
Well, Mike Mordecai, the fine infield instructor, has just gone in to spend some time with Lawrie to make sure they fine-tune him in anticipation of his being called up. Mordecai is an exceptional instructor and did a good job with Lawrie along with Brian Butterfield and Louis Rivera this spring. Isn't it interesting how everybody differs in the organization? We don't have to get into specifics, but there's a large faction that wants to see him up here yesterday. And there's a large faction that wants to say, well, you know what, he's not quite ready. We're going to wait until he hits 3 home runs in a game and starts 5 double plays.
It is interesting when you talk to the people involved. That ball lifted to left field. My take on the whole thing, Buck, is when you bring a player up, you want to make sure that he comes up and he stays, that he feels like he belongs, that he's the guy here. And the knock on Brett Lawrie in spring training was offensively he could handle it right now. They want to polish up the defense and make sure that he comes up here and helps the club win defensively. Remember, he's only been playing third base since the beginning of spring training. It's a tough position to play.
Everything is related to your timing and certainly to your comfort level, and that's a valid argument. Jose Bautista asked for 5 days here in the big leagues before he moved from right field to third base. He's only committed 1 error since the move.
I think you, as an organization, you got to rely on your scouts. You got to rely on your coaches that you have in AAA. Your manager. They watch him day in and day out. And they know what it takes to play in the big leagues.
There's a changeup tapped foul at home plate. 2 balls and a strike. I think you're right. I think they know about development, and they have seen Lawrie, and he's out a long time. I mean, he was out May 31st with that broken hand, and it took him a long time to heal.
All we see is the numbers. He's hitting this with this many home runs and this many RBIs. You and I don't see him. How does he take his ground balls? Is he strong with his backhand? How is he on the bunt play? You know, all those type of things that come into consideration, and that's why you've got to trust the people who are watching him day in and day out.
3 balls and a strike. Two outs. We are in the top of the 4th inning. Burns goes after that breaking ball. Certainly the interest has peaked with the addition of Colby Rasmus. We showed you Mark Teahan. He's joined the ball club. He's a left-handed bat that's slated to be an extra player for the time being. Rasmus will play every day in center field. He's 24 years old, former #1 pick of the St. Louis Cardinals. 3-2, 2 outs. Mark Reynolds lays off the high pitch and a 2-out walk. It's the first walk issued by Carlos Villanueva. Nolan Raimo reached on an error by Aaron Hill. He had a little excuse me check swing tapper to the second baseman who booted it. First pitch breaking ball in there. Villanueva's record at 5-2. This is his 12th start of the season. His previous high in starts was 9 with the Milwaukee Brewers a few years ago.
He has been almost automatic 6 innings this year since they moved him into that starting rotation.
And that's a good thing. I mean, he's just been an emergency starter. They had injuries. They had lack of performance. They forced him into the rotation. He's handled it very well. He's obviously a valuable part of this pitching staff. However they decide to use him in the long term, whether it's out of the bullpen. We've seen him be able to give you multiple innings out of the bullpen.
That's the nice thing about him, that he can swing like that. I think every team has to have a pitcher like a Carlos Villanueva who can give you innings out of the bullpen and spot start when you need it. As you watch him, does he project as a starter? That's for the Blue Jays to try and figure out. But he throws strikes. He has command of 3 very good above average major league pitches. He has the ability to throw strikes, and that's always important.
Harry strikes out Nolan Reimold to end the inning. The Orioles will strand another base runner. Colby Rasmus will lead things off his first game in a Blue Jays uniform. A 40-inch Aquos Quattron TV and Blu-ray player. To enter, visit hitahomerunwithsharp.ca. Sharp Aquos makes bigger, better. New pitcher for the Orioles will be Mark Hendrickson, the big left-hander. We mentioned Hendrickson threw an inning in the opener of this three-game series at a 1-2-3 ninth inning.
Hitless in the ninth inning versus Toronto, the big left-hander now in his ninth year in the big leagues. He'll sink his fastball. He's got a curveball, changeup. Not like a normal reliever. A lot of times you see relievers come out of the bullpen. They have maybe 2 pitches, maybe 3. He's got 4. A natural starter in his career. He has started about half as many times as he's been in there. He's gone back and forth from the starting rotation into the bullpen on all the teams that he has played for.
Corey Rasmus 0 for 2 so far. He's popped up twice in his first game with the Blue Jays. He was acquired in that trade with the St. Louis Cardinals. His left-handed pitching, he's at 356. He's got 3 home runs. He's hit 11 home runs for the season. He's got power and speed. 3-1. Rasmus was the 2-time minor league player of the year for the St. Louis Cardinals. He's jammed on that pitch. Take a look at his 3-year career with the Cardinals in the big leagues. He had a big season last year, and the Blue Jays would love to see that kind of power from their center field.
23 home runs as a 23-year-old last year, along with 66 RBIs. I like looking at his batting average and on-base percentage and the position he plays. And you just look at it, and Alex Anthopoulos talked about it a little bit yesterday, that the upside was just too good to pass up. He can run, he can throw, he can field, hit. We've seen the power, the extra base power.
3-2. Bouncing ball to short. J.J. Hardy throws him out. Colby Rasmus comes from a rural part of Alabama, and he said coming to a big city was going to be a challenge, but he felt like he was prepared.
I'm sure it's going to be a lot different. I grew up, out in the country, so it's a big city. It'll definitely be different, but I think I've learned to deal with some of those things. Just as long as we got some good food, I'll be all right.
Well, Kobe, I'll tell you this, they got a lot of good food in Toronto. And I think he's going to be very happy here. Certainly an opportunity to start fresh.
All they told him was, be here on time, be ready to play. I'm going to write your name in that lineup every single day in center field for the rest of the season. And the Blue Jays want to get to know him just a little bit.
Kobe Rasmus broke Bo Jackson's high school home run record. There's a long drive to left field, but Bautista got it off the end of the bat. Ball came off the bat pretty good, but he didn't get it on the barrel.
Just spun it off that barrel. Rasmus played for his father in high school.
Russell County High School in Phoenix City, Alabama. And Kobe Rasmus hit 24 home runs. That broke Bo Jackson's Alabama high school home run record. Now, he's pretty talented, and you know, he came up with high expectations, and he was taking over for the great Jim Edmonds. Tough man to replace, first and foremost defensively. And then, I mean, here you are replacing a legend in St. Louis who's at the end of his career, and they expect a rookie to step in and move right into that position and put up the same kind of numbers. Not going to happen.
Just 22 years old when he first got to the big leagues. And that in itself is tough, to get through the minor leagues starting as an 18-year-old.
They traded Jim Edmonds in December of 2007. A big breaking ball. And then in March in 2008, Kobe had a great spring. They had a .464 on base percentage. Team needed a leadoff hitter. He thought he was going to be that leadoff hitter. And then at the end of spring, they sent him to Memphis in AAA and got off to a rough start. He hit 186 in his first 172 at bats. Disappointed with the demotion, obviously. 2-2, 2 outs. Then in the summertime, where they had a chance to play center field for Team USA in the Beijing Olympics, he was rehabbing a bad knee. So it was really a disappointing summer for him. He had an opportunity to play, thinking that he might represent Team USA in the Olympics, and that didn't work out. Mark Hendrickson with a big curveball strikes out Adam Lind. The big left-hander has a 1-2-3 fourth inning. Now it's time for an upgrade. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn from the Blackberry Broadcast Studio. Looking for our nation's most talented performers. Auditions are being held in Vancouver, Edmonton, Winnipeg, Toronto, Montreal, and Halifax. Canada'sGotTalent.com has all the date and location information. We're looking for acts of all ages. Sign up, show up. Canada's Got Talent looking for you. Carlos Villanueva in the 5th inning. Got off to a rocky start, gave up 2 solo home runs in the first, but has settled down very nicely. Robert Andino takes a strike. It's 1-1.
Orioles have been struggling with the bat this month. 4 times they've been shut out in the month of July. Home runs, no problem there. Certainly saw that in the first inning. They have now hit 70 home runs since June the 1st.
There's that good curveball. Villanueva is finally utilizing that good breaking pitch.
Touch and feel, that's what he has out on that mound. Got a good feel for his curveball. He's got a good feel for his changeup. And he will throw it any time in the count.
He buried that breaking ball in the dirt. One thing the Blue Jays have found out about Villanueva, he's a valuable pitcher. However they choose to utilize him, he can pitch back end of your rotation. He can pitch in the middle. Not particularly suited to pitch later on in the game.
But I bet you he could do it if you need to. He throws enough strikes that he could do it.
My ideal 8th and 9th inning guys are power guys. At that time, you're getting a hitter in their 4th, sometimes 5th at bat. Bat slows down a little bit. I want to go after him with some power. Full count to Andino. He walks him. Walked him with an off-speed pitch.
It's Canada's best-selling car 13 years in a row. Honda, the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Second walk issued by Carlos Villanueva. He turns the lineup over. That'll bring to the plate J.J. Hardy. J.J. Hardy's been a real find for the Orioles.
They signed him to a 3-year extension, and you can see why. He's made just 2 errors all season long at shortstop. 17 home runs, now 43 driven in. After they've moved him into that leadoff spot, he has just taken off offensively.
You see how Villanueva tonight was the exception. First time through the order. In the past, he's been pretty good. Tonight, he gave up 3 hits. First time through the order, 2 runs and a couple of home runs. Second time, he smoothed it out. But during the course of the season, this has always been the challenge for him. 3rd time through the batting order.
And that's why starters are so important, because they have to go 3 times, at least 3 times through the order. And it takes a strong, committed starter, physically and mentally, to pitch through 6 and 7 innings every time out.
I think being a frontline major league starter is as challenging as any position on the field. Even though they only pitch once every 5 days, to be able to go through the lineup 3 and 4 times, sometimes 5 times, you have to be talented, you have to be strong, you have to be determined, and you have to be intelligent enough to read what a hitter's doing against you. When you think about the dominant pitchers over the years, and we have seen a lot of them, including Roy Halladay front and center first and foremost, but think about Smoltz and think about Glavine and think about Maddox. They're all smart baseball players. They understand the game. Ricky Romero understands when a guy's trying to run. But being a starting pitcher and being a good one, you've got to really understand the game of baseball. CC Sabathia, another big guy, doesn't look like an athlete, but boy, is he ever an athlete. Very coordinated.
David Price.
Snap throw almost got Andino napping.
John Lester, I'll throw those guys in there also at you. Here's the snap throw from Aaron Seavey as he thinks he has a chance to get Andino first base. Just go take a baseball tomorrow if you're listening. Get loose in your backyard and throw 15 pitches as hard as you can into a net and see how that feels on your arm. Then try doing that 100 times when you take the mound and start spinning the ball. It's tough.
Yeah, it's physically demanding, and that's why when we were talking with Andrew Tinish, the director of scouting, and breaking down his recent draft, a lot of big, strong kids in that draft. There goes Andino. Hardy drills it down the left field line. That is a fair ball off the wall. Andino is going to be stopped at third. Throw going to second. Just offline. J.J. Hardy rips a double off the wall in left. Andino goes first to third, and the Orioles have something cooking here in the fifth.
J.J. Hardy is a hitter when he faces Blue Jay pitching. Over 400 coming into this game this season. Inner half, and he pulls it down the left field line right at the base of the fence, and Snyder comes over quickly. He's accurate throwing from from left field, but not accurate enough to get Hardy at second base. Orioles have something started here in the fifth.
Chris Walton out of the dugout to talk to Villanueva. Villanueva has not really had good command of his fastball all night long, and that's hurt him. It's elevated his pitch count. He's been much more dominant in his previous starts. He gets a quick visit from the pitching coach. J.J. Hardy, his eyes light up when he sees this ballpark. This season, coming into this game, .353, 4 homers and 9 RBI.
His 17 home runs this year are 7 more than the Orioles shortstops have hit the last 3 years combined. Production from the shortstop spot, finally, for Baltimore.
First time they've had it since Miguel Tejada was playing shortstop. Nick Markakis trying to cash in on this great opportunity. Blue Jays lead at 6-2, but the Orioles have runners at second and third, nobody out. Tough part of the lineup for Villanueva.
And the Jays have done a good job with runners in scoring position in this series. Nick Markakis, 279, a home run and 32 driven in. In this series so far, just 3 for 17 the Orioles hitting when they get runners in scoring position.
Bouncing ball. Bautista is going to look Andino back. That's one of the few balls on the infield that wasn't going to produce a run. Andino had to hold his ground. Bautista took the chopper and looked him back at third.
Yeah, you are told as a runner at third base, nobody out, second and third, you're down by 4 runs. Ground ball to the middle of the diamond, make sure it gets back past the pitcher, and don't let the third baseman catch the ball because you will be out. And I think Andino would have been out here. He reads it. Anywhere else, up the pitcher and the third baseman, that's a run for the Orioles.
Andino did a good job. You can't really listen to a coach on that play. You have to have the instincts. Bautista broke. Andino saw where he was and decided to hold his ground. Adam Jones. Jones is 0 for 2. Little looper into center field. That's going to fall for a base hit. Rasmus waits on it. Runner's wing waved home. The throw is offline. It gets away all the way back to the backstop as Hardy scores from second, and Adam Jones drives in too with a little looper into center.
Ball beats. Jones muscles it into center field. Rasmus stayed back on it, but then misses the cutoff man. Adam Jones was taking off as soon as he saw this ball out of the hand just fly over the cutoff man, and now the double play is taken out. 2 runs were scored. They were not going to get that back runner, J.J. Hardy, as Jones picks up a couple of RBIs.
Vladimir Guerrero with a home run already tonight. Pops this one out of play. Kobe Rasmus in center field played back. It's his first game on this artificial surface this year. Wasn't really quite sure how that ball was going to react. He knew he couldn't catch it. They had to make sure he didn't let it bounce over his head. And then his throw had a lot of strength on it, but it was offline.
Yeah, it's hard as an outfielder to go, stop, catch the ball, and then start up again to make a strong throw to home plate. Would have been better off just putting the ball at second base.
Vladdy Guerrero, a base hit. Adam Jones had to make sure the ball wasn't caught. He only moves up to third. Guerrero with his second hit of the night. And the Orioles have gotten to Carlos Villanueva here in the fifth.
After the leadoff walk to the number 9 hitter, you've got to navigate through a very good hitting team. Hardy, Markakis, Jones, now Guerrero with a bullet in the left field for his second hit. You still have Derek Lee, Wieters, Reynolds. It's a team that can pop the ball out of the ballpark at any time.
Derek Lee. Caught by Bautista, trying to get over to third. Guerrero just barely back. What a play by Bautista. Gloving the line drive and still having the presence of mind to make a throw to first.
Which one was more impressive, the catch or the throw? He saves a run for now with his quickness, diving to his left. That was pretty good. But how about the attempt to get the runner at first base?
From his knees, Guerrero really has to scamper back and just barely gets back in time. Now there are 2 outs. Matt Wieters. Wieters has done a terrific job batting with runners in scoring position this year.
He is 7th in the American League in hitting with runners in scoring position. .364.
P.J. Walters, one of the newly acquired players down in the bullpen. Walters is a 26-year-old. Just got a little more than 70 days in the big leagues coming into this season. On Farrell, hopeful of getting Villanueva at least through this inning. There goes Guerrero. J.P. and Sebia won't make a throw. So Guerrero gets a stolen base. He represents the tying run. That's his first of the season.
I think they were begging the Blue Jays to throw through. And then Adam Jones, the runner at third base, was going to try and steal a run. Aaron Sebia did the right thing in just holding on to the baseball.
Ball and a strike. Off speed pitch. Wieters way out in front. Villanueva has had a struggle. 83 pitches with 2 outs in the top of the 5th. Jones at third, Guerrero at second. Bouncing ball. Hill sits back, makes the play. Wieters is retired. Villanueva gets out of it. The Orioles strand a couple more. 4.5 innings. Blue Jays lead at 6-4. Here's in the TD Comfort Zone are guests of the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame. Chance to join the Blue Jays right here at Rogers Center and get a great seat right in those great big comfy green chairs. Blue Jays lead at 6-4. Edwin Encarnacion starts things off. He had a big 2-out home run in the third inning. The first of 2 back-to-back home runs. Encarnacion. Eric Thames went deep in the third. Mark Hendrickson in relief of Brad Bergeson. Bergeson went just 3 innings. He was charged with all 6 runs on 6 hits. Encarnacion has another base hit, swinging a hot bat. That starts the 5th.
Been on base 3 times now tonight. Home run, single, and a walk. That drove in a run in the first inning. All or nothing as he puts it into that swing, grits his teeth, and pulls the ball into left field.
Good to see him swinging the bat, driving the ball much more effectively. Eric Thames driven in 2 tonight, sac fly and a solo home run. Thames, of course, getting his first look at an awful lot of these American League pitchers.
The more chances he has to face these lefties, it's just got to make him better. He is not intimidated by him. A lot of times you'll see young hitters come up, left-handed hitters facing left-handed pitchers, and they'll start cheating a little bit with that front shoulder, trying to open it up. But he stays right in there.
He's in a hole against Hendrickson, 0-2. Okay, Mr. Baseball. Here's that age-old question. With Eric Thames, what came first, confidence or success?
Confidence. I think you just talk to him, and he's dripping with confidence. He was like that the first day we met him before he even had any success in the big leagues. Agree, disagree, argue?
100% agree. He knows he can play. He's done the work. He knows he can swing the bat. Injuries kept him from being a first-round pick. He's a very bright young man. He's a hard worker. And now he's working at his defensive skills with the same vigor that he's worked on his bat. Foul ball. Rob Drake just barely got out of the way, but you can tell Eric Thames has got a special bat.
Ball on the inner half, and the Orioles have been trying to pitch him in. That time he was very quick on the inner half. He kept his front shoulder in on that breaking ball from Hendrickson nicely. Does not give any ground.
Went after a bad pitch. Hendrickson threw him an off-speed pitch.
It's Canada's best-selling car 13 years in a row. Honda, the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
That will happen sometimes, I think, with Eric Thames, because he doesn't know the league. He doesn't know that Mark Hendrickson will try and bury that breaking ball in the dirt to him. He could think that he's going to do that, but until he faces him a few more times.
Aaron Hill with a perfect bunt at the third baseline. Hendrickson, not a chance. What a good bunt by Aaron Hill. They bunted it right off the end of the bat, and that really deadened it and kept it fair up the third baseline.
Usually you don't see right-handed batters trying to bunt for a base hit against left-handed pitchers because you don't get to see the lefties very often. The breaking ball comes in on Hill, perfectly placed. That ball was not going to roll foul. Hill squares, drops that back leg, deadens the ball like you were saying. No chance for Hendrickson to come up and make the play.
2 on with 1 out. Travis Snyder's 2 for 2 so far. Lefty against lefty here in the bottom of the 5th. Blue Jays trying to get back a couple of those runs they gave up in the top half of this inning. Outside. Isn't it interesting how the fortunes of a hitter change dramatically from one game to the next?
He was 4 for 4 yesterday in the game. Snyder.
Pick off at second, and Encarnacion is back.
And it's not the 4 for 4 that you want. 4 for 4 taking the bat back to the dugout after striking out.
Golden sombrero.
He comes out early, takes early batting practice, and voila, 2 for 2 so far.
Big breaking ball outside. John Farrell knows he's got some young hitters. They're going to have to learn themselves, learn the league, get their feet on the ground. Encarnacion is one of those streaky hitters. Aaron Hill trying to recapture the form he had a couple of years ago when he was the Silver Slugger Award winner at second base. 3-0. JP Arencibia with his power is on deck. There's just one out. Arencibia had a 2-run double last time up.
Turn him loose here?
No. Make Hendrickson throw a strike. And he did.
I said yes.
Lefty against lefty.
Might be the only good fastball you see. You know it's coming.
I think younger hitters have a tough time hitting with the 3-0 green light. They get too excited. Chase that pitch. Oftentimes you give a young hitter a 3-0 green light, he'll swing at anything.
Yeah, and the muscle up and just slow him down. This time a little anxious. That ball obviously out of the strike zone.
Give a veteran hitter a green light, they're thinking as if it's a perfect pitch right out over the plate, just like one they'd want in batting practice. 3-2, 1 out. Bouncing ball. Derek Lee, second base to Hardy. He bobbled it, but he was taking a ball out of his glove. So they get the lead runner at second, and Encarnacion moves to third. Snyder's aboard for a third time. Hill's out on the 3-6 force out.
Good throw from Lee to the outside part of the bag, exactly where J.J. Hardy wanted that ball. But in the transfer, he just can't make the play. And it will keep the inning going. With a chance for a 2-out RBI for JP Arencibia.
And that's huge with Arencibia's ability to drive in runs, and he's facing a left-handed pitcher. Arencibia for the season, and even 300 against lefties. So just 190 against right-handed pitching. This matchup favors Arencibia. Got a good look at that pitch off the plate.
Well, that's one thing he will do. He will track pitches. Have good at bats. The at bat that comes to mind for me for Arencibia is the walk he had against Verlander in that no hitter.
Snap throw to third. Ball gets away. Reynolds is going to get it. Here comes Encarnacion. He's going to score. Heads up base running by Edwin Encarnacion. He dove back into third. The ball popped out of Reynolds' glove, and the Orioles get one away.
They give one of those runs right back to the Blue Jays here at the bottom of the 5th inning. First and third situation. I think the Orioles were thinking that there was possibly a chance for a double steal. So they were going to keep Edwin Encarnacion honest as he came down the line. They put the pickoff play on. Mark Reynolds just drops the ball.
And he is charged with an error. The second Oriole error of the game. Encarnacion scores for a second time.
Teams will put that play on if they feel like the opposition is going to try something to try and steal a run. 2 outs, number 9 hitter up. First and third situation, left-handed pitcher on the mound where that runner at third base can get way down the line. a good idea. It just didn't work.
Left-hander has his back to third base, and that third base runner can get a big lead. Reynolds charged with his 21st error of the season at third. Downstairs. Tough combination for Reynolds. 21 errors, 21 home runs. Not exactly the kind of ratio you want to see. Hitting just .219 at the start of this game. JP Arencibia with a full count. Been a back and forth game through the first 4.5 innings. Orioles scored 2 in their half of the first. Blue Jays answered right back. Blue Jays got 4 in the third. Encarnacion and Thames went back to back, and Arencibia had a 2-run double. Another full count pitch to the catcher. Takes a walk.
Good at bat. Good at bat with a runner in scoring position. Jays have been doing it offensively since July the 7th. They were 5 games under 500. Since that time, they have gone 10-5, and the hitting has really led the way.
And you expect the hitting to even pick up further with the addition of Colby Rasmus and the balance in the lineup. And they've added 3 good bats over the course of the last month. Snyder, Thames, and now Colby Rasmus. Top of the order, Yunel Escobar.
Now you got to really make that error hurt here. After walking the number 9 hitter, you turn the lineup over, and you've got a good RBI man, in my estimation, in Yunel Escobar to play. He will put up good at bats with runners in scoring position.
Speed pitches upstairs. Colby Rasmus in his first game with the Blue Jays, 0 for 3 so far. He stands on deck. Trying to get a read on Mark Hendrickson.
You ever traded in the middle of the season?
Yeah.
Tough.
Yeah, very much so.
You ever change leagues?
Are you going to a foreign clubhouse?
Yeah.
You pack your bags and you pack up, and more oftentimes than not, you tell your wife, well, you pack up the house and I'll see you when you get done. And you have to leave your family in the previous city, and you come into a clubhouse where you don't know anybody. It's a challenge.
And then to make things tougher, he changes leagues and has no idea what these pitchers will throw. He might see him in spring training, or he might see him in interleague play for a little bit, but just doesn't have a book on him yet.
Sometimes that's a good thing. Listening to him in his press conference today, he said he wants to get back to basics. There's a strike. It'll be a full count. There are 2 outs here in the 5th. Rasmus is on deck. Travis Snyder at second, JP Arencibia at first. They will be off on the pitch with 2 down. There go the runners. Base hit left field. Snyder jumped over the baseball. He'll score easily as Escobar picks up his second hit of the night. And the Blue Jays have gotten back those 2 innings. Those 2 runs they gave up in the top half of the inning.
That's what he does. I think Escobar will be a fine RBI man. Just doesn't have the opportunities hitting at the top of the lineup unless they turn it over. The error does hurt him. It scored 1 run on the air. Then the good at bat by Arencibia leads to this, the RBI single by Escobar, as Snyder comes around to score. Escobar drives in his 39th run of the season.
Well, he's on base multiple times, just about every game. Chris Jakubowskis, I've seen him in this series. He pitched in Last night's game worked an inning, gave up a couple of hits, walked the batter and struck out 2. Colby Rasmus looking for his first Blue Jay hit of the season. Out in front of that pitch from Hendrickson. Slow breaking ball. We mentioned Rasmus went through a real tough stretch early in the season. He went through a 54-game stretch where he hit 180. Had a lot of things going on. He and Tony La Russa had their moments. 0-2, 2 outs. But he is very talented. He hit a home run against Brandon Morrow in interleague play in St. Louis. He also hit a pinch hit home run here last year for the Cardinals in interleague play. Colby Rasmus was taken 28th overall in the 2005 draft, and this is one of the most talent-rich drafts in recent memory.
Look at the All-Stars. This is just the notables from the first round in that draft. Justin Upton, Ryan Zimmerman, Ryan Braun, Ricky Romero, of course, was in that draft. Tulowitzki, how about Jacoby Ellsbury, Matt Garza, and then Colby Rasmus at the lower part of the draft, but still a fine talent.
Anytime you pick up a #1 pick, I think no matter which organization select him, you got to believe he's a talented player. Rasmus was drafted in that pick from high school. 2-2, 2 outs. Fouled off and out of the glove of Matt Wieters. Alex Anthopoulos has coveted Colby Rasmus for a while. He said in his press conference yesterday, every time I called and said, how about Rasmus? They said no. And then things turned around this last week. Good break for the Blue Jays. Rays off that outside pitch.
Yeah, television report where Tony La Russa said something about Rasmus not listening to his coaches or something like that, and that might have been the final straw, and Blue Jays called, worked it out, and are hoping for good things. I know John Farrell's excited to have him.
Breaking ball, and Rasmus strikes out. Hendrickson gets him to end the 5th inning. But the Blue Jays add a couple. New pitcher, another former Cardinal. P.J. Walters will make his Blue Jay debut when we come back to Rogers Center. With newly acquired Corey Patterson delivering. P.J. Walters basically traded for Patterson. He was part of that deal that came from the Cardinals. Just 4 games this season with St. Louis. He pitched the majority of the season down in AAA Memphis, where he made 17 starts.
He was a starter in the minor leagues, in the major leagues, basically pitching out of the bullpen. Sinker slider type of pitcher. Had a chance to talk with Bruce Walton, the pitching coach of the Blue Jays, this afternoon. I asked him about him. He said he sinks his fastball and throws a little bit of a slider.
Mark Reynolds bends back from a fastball. 2 balls and no strikes. Reynolds lined out and walked. Blue Jays lead it 8-4. Be interesting to get a look at P.J. Walters, and obviously he's got the right size that everybody is looking at now. We've talked about the Blue Jays and how they covet big, strong pitcher. 6'4", 200 pounds for Walters. Major league career, just 2-0. He's only been in 19 games. But any GM will tell you never have too much pitching. Add to the inventory. Young, strong. 11th round pick in 2006.
Just 26 years old, like you were saying. So upside. At the time that he was selected from the AAA team on July the 6th, Walters was 4th in the Pacific Coast League in innings pitched and 5th in strikeouts.
Strike 3 call. Makes a good pitch with the fastball. Hits Mark Reynolds. Strikes out his first batter here with the Blue Jays.
Stayed down, stayed in with his fastball as he buries it on the inside corner. That's how you want to make your first attempt in a new team in a new city.
Make it look easy. A little cutter off the end of the bat. Nolan Reimold chases. Reimold's 0 for 2 tonight. That error was committed by Aaron Hill in the second. 6th inning of an 8-4 ball game. Blue Jays lead it. Alex Anthopoulos continuing to add to the inventory. And you know, it's got to make the players pleased that the GM continues to add to the roster. But at the same time, there has to be a sense that nobody's job is secure. Nobody's guaranteed. I mean, if you continue to bring in talent to this organization, somebody's going to have to sit.
I think it keeps everybody on their toes. That, you know, even though I have a multi-year contract, or even if I'm a young player, baseball is a game of what have you done for me lately? And it always has, and it always will. And I think if you keep that mindset as a player, you'll be fine.
The best teams you ever played on had talent everywhere. I mean, you were a role player here and part of the World Series team, but you had a talented bench. You had a lot of guys that could play on other teams.
Played on a Kansas City team that finished second 3 years in a row. And the thing that separates the bad teams from the good teams, talent, yes, but the will to win. And when you have young players like the Blue Jays are now starting to sprinkle in their field, 23, 24, 25-year-olds, they can all grow together.
Alex Anthopoulos, 34 years old and a year and a half in the position, and he's had a lot of big assignments, and he's handled them very, very effectively.
Let's break it down a little bit. Roy Halladay trade. Who did they get for him? Well, eventually they got Anthony Goes, who is 4th on that list. Travis d'Arnaud came in that, and Kyle Drabeck. Young position players. And a young starter. Brandon League for Brandon Morrow. Gonzalez for Escobar. There's the Wallace for Ghost trade. And the Vernon Wells trade might be his biggest one.
The Vernon Wells trade certainly gave them financial flexibility, salary flexibility, if you will. Brandon Morrow has become a reliable starter. Yeah, Brandon League's having a good season for the Seattle Mariners, but at the time the starter role was more important than the bullpen role.
We will not know the dynamics of the Vernon Wells trade for 3 years. And I'll tell you why. The money that they were able to save, if you will, from that contract, $85–86 million, they're going to plug a lot of that into the draft this year. And from what you are hearing and from what I'm hearing, the players they got in the draft are very high ceiling players, and it's going to cost them some money. But now they have that money to sign those players, and they're not going to be here for 3 or 4 years.
And we're hearing these reports from other organizations' scouts, not the Blue Jays scouts. Jacob Anderson, an outfielder from Chino High School in California, was here today working out. Big outfield prospect, good-looking hitter, real nice kid, and he had a great line today when Andrew Tinish talked to him about the process of coming here and what he was going to do. Robert Andino pops it out of play. Jacob Anderson was in uniform. He didn't have a number on his back. Andrew Tinish says, well, you ready to work out? He goes, well, what do you mean? He goes, you're going to work out today with the big league club. Because, what do you mean? He says, you're going to take batting practice. You're in the 4th group. He says, I'm taking batting practice with the Blue Jays. He goes, yeah. He said, an 18-year-old doesn't deserve to be on a field with a major league team. That's pretty cool. He's a very talented young man, and hopefully they'll get him signed and into the organization.
And playing with that wood bat.
You know, it was interesting, too. Andrew Tinish went out, met the family. Obviously, you have to develop a relationship and create some kind of good feelings about your organization. And he was in the house and had apple pie and ice cream with the family. And hopefully they'll get him signed and he can start his professional career. There goes Reimold. The ball is popped into shallow right field. That's going to drop. Oh, no. What a play by Lynn. Reimold thought it was going to drop just like me. Reimold stayed out halfway between first and second. He is doubled off. Lynn has been spectacular at first base.
The only guy who could have made that play was Adam Lynn because Hill was covering on the steal attempt. He reaches behind him. Look what I found. And after it lands in his glove, it's easy after that. What a play by Lynn to end the top of the 6th.
What a play he made. He caught everybody off guard, including the base runner, Nolan Reimold.
Well, he was holding him on first base, and Reimold took off, and Lynn went to cover the bag at second base. So Adam Lynn was the only one, Hill was covering, and Lynn was the only one who could make that play over the shoulder catch. And then finishes it off with the throw to the pitcher at the bag.
That was going to be trouble. Thames didn't have a shot at all. Jose Bautista batting against the new pitcher, Chris Jakubowskis. 17th appearance of the game for the Orioles right-hander.
I talked to Jose Bautista this afternoon about his at-bat against Jakabauskas, and he totally crossed him up by throwing him a 3-2 curveball. And I said, well, you'll be ready next time you face him.
He's got a good curveball. That was it right there. Tight spin, late break. Yeah, Jose took a funky swing at it last night.
They will use the shift against Jose Bautista with a right-hander on the mound. 3 infielders on the left side. Okay, it's 3-2.
There was that breaking ball again. Buck Showalter always plays the percentages, and he knows Bautista is going to pull the ball more often than not, even against a right-handed pitcher. Reaches and pokes that fastball away. Can you sell out and look for a breaking ball here, 3-2?
Sure. I think that's his approach. He fouled off that first 3-2 pitch like he was sitting on a curveball.
He fouled off another fastball. He got the breaking ball he was looking for, but hits it right to the shortstop. J.J. Hardy.
First baseman, number 26, Adam Lind.
Then with a terrific defensive play to end the top half of this inning. He's 0 for 3 tonight.
Now, he did play some outfield, so I'm sure that helped him on that pop-up. The way he tracked it. The impressive thing for me was how he reached back over his shoulder.
Yeah, he was running in one direction and then stabbed it back in the other direction. And he's played a lot of first base as a kid, going back into high school and early in his college days. And he told me earlier this season he wasn't too concerned about playing once he got the timing down and once he got the conditioning down. Basically, the problem he had with his lower back was the transition from DHing and playing in the outfield to playing first base.
The bending and the stooping and the movements as a first baseman. If you don't have that core strong, it'll wear you down.
Good fastball right on the outside corner. 2 outs here in the 6th. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. He's got an update. Rangers will be here tomorrow night to start a 3-game series. They are having some pitching issues, and Ron Washington, the manager, is pushing the front office to shore up their bullpen. Neftali Felice already has been charged with 5 blown saves. He had just 3 all of last season.
Do you think an experienced 8th inning guy would help Felice?
Ron Washington said exactly that, and he talked about Frank Francisco. He said we miss Francisco's presence in the 8th inning. Encarnacion's going to split the outfielders. This ball's going all the way to the wall. Encarnacion around first. He's headed for second. Another double for Edwin Encarnacion. His 3rd hit of the night. His 25th double of the season.
4th time that he will reach base. He is now just a triple shy of the cycle. Low ball hitter. Stays right over the top of that breaking ball, going down and away. And that helps him to hit the ball on the line. If you pull off of that pitch right there or drop that back shoulder, that's a pop-up. Stay right on top of that one. Created backspin and split the outfielders.
Eric Thames. His 5th home run of the season came back in the 3rd inning. He and Edwin Encarnacion went back to back. Florida Marlins reliever Leo Nunez has been targeted by the Texas Rangers, as has Heath Bell and Mike Adams from the Padres. They've also inquired about Andrew Bailey of Oakland. So we may see another reliever before the Rangers leave town on Sunday.
I'm going to go with the double closers, huh? Like a lot of these teams are doing, getting a couple of closers.
John Axford and Francisco Rodriguez for the Brewers. Eric Thames drives this to left. Reimold is back on the track, makes the catch. Thames gave it a ride to the opposite field. He hit it hard, but Reimold made a good play. We have played 6 complete. It'll be Casey Janssen when we come back to Rogers Center. Prizes by visiting the new Hit a Home Run with Sharp Facebook page. Lots of opportunities to cash in on the great Sharp products. Check out the Sharp page on Facebook.
Casey Janssen is the Blue Jays' 3rd pitcher tonight. Pitched the first game in this series, got 4 outs, gave up a couple of hits and a strikeout in that game. After the trade of 3 relievers, Jason Frazier, Mark Zebchinski, Octavio Dotel, I think Casey Janssen moves up the pecking order, moves up the list, and becomes a very important late-inning reliever for John Farrell's team.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he takes over the Jason Frazier role. He comes in, pivotal part of the lineup, 7th, 8th inning. And he has proven to be a strike thrower. Then gets away from Aaron Sevilla. I think the entire attitude of the team now is this is all about competing. This is all about keeping your job. Off the end of the bat. Hardy's retired. First out of the 7th.
It almost has a feel of spring training all over again, with a bunch of new guys coming in and guys fighting for positions and spots on a team.
Kobe Rasmus is certainly in a good spot, surrounded by young players. Thames is 24, Rasmus is 24, Snyder's 23. Last time we had a situation like this in the outfield, it was probably Bell, Mosby, and Barfield in the early 80s, where there were 3 young outfielders growing together. And we're not of the mind that this is where they're going to stop by any means.
You know, you start figuring in Brett Lawrie into the equation. You were asking me about the question of the day. You know that's going to be part of it. When he comes up, Bautista goes to the outfield, right? So somebody gets bumped. And that's what you're talking about competition.
Getting better.
Getting better.
Yep.
Competing.
The ultimate goal isn't to be a 500 ball club, it's to be a world champion. Blue Jays are a long way from that, but they're headed in the right direction. 2-1 to Markakis. Line to the second baseman. Fans, don't forget Sportsnet.ca has all your baseball coverage 24/7. Live chats during the game and great writing from Shai Davidi, Mike Wilner, Scott Carson, and Michael Grange. Trade deadline coming up on Sunday. It's 4 p.m. Eastern time. That's the end of the trade deadline. Scott Carson's done a great job of breaking down the Anthopoulos move. He also helps me every day with my game preparation. Best stats man in baseball.
Yep. Check out his column. Very thorough.
Keep you up to date on everything around this Blue Jays club. Adam Jones had a 2-run single his last time up.
There was a trade made today in baseball. Fukudome went from the Cubs to the Indians. And that was out of necessity for Cleveland.
Ravens had a tough run with injuries to their outfielders, and they have slipped 2 games behind the Tigers. Chopped, tough play for Bautista. Bare hands throws, not in time. Not much he could do about that. You got to play deep to respect the bat of Adam Jones, and that swinging bunt. He did everything he could do. Jones has his second hit.
You have to play deep. So you've got a long way to go. Bautista did everything he could. Jones runs too well. He now has 35 multi-hit games. Adam Jones this time, thanks to his speed coming out of that box, thinking infield hit.
Well executed by Bautista, that Jones just outframed that. Vladdy Guerrero. Broken bat liner to Hill. Orioles are retired here in the 7th. They give up the 2-out infield hit for nothing more. Blue Jays, middle of the 7th, have an 8-4 lead. Cooperstown for Roberto Alomar. From the initial call to the Hall of Fame to his hometown in Puerto Rico, Roberto Alomar opens up about his life in a revealing documentary. Watch the Journey to Cooperstown Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific on Rogers Sportsnet, right after our baseball game. Roberto Alomar Hall of Fame Day will be here Sunday at Rogers Center. Pre-game ceremony to retire the number 12 uniform of Roberto Alomar. His first opportunity to visit with the fans here at Rogers Center after his induction into the Hall of Fame last weekend in Cooperstown. Koji Uehara, the 4th pitcher to work for the Orioles here tonight.
He is on some kind of ride as Uehara. You see his earned run average at just 180. Opponent's hitting just 147 against the right-handed. Since May the 8th, he has lowered his ERA, cut it in half, and now down to 180.
Uehara has done a great job of pitching out of the bullpen, and initially they thought he might be able to start, but his career in Japan kind of came to an end because of leg problems, not arm problems, but he had a lot of hamstring problems and seems to be better suited at this point of his career to work out of the bullpen. Hill lines it to Reynolds at third. That's the first out of the 7th.
You know, an inning here, an inning there. They thought about closing it. He had 13 saves for the Orioles last year. Just 8 walks this year in 45 innings for Uehara, so he's going to be around the plate. Herky-jerky type of motion. Doesn't blow it by you.
Lots of scouts all around baseball trying to see if there's somebody out there that can help them in the last 2 months of the season. Uehara is one of those guys. He's a veteran, obviously pitched in the major leagues of Japan before joining the Orioles. He would be somebody that could certainly help a team in contention.
Now 36 years old, but again, he doesn't walk anybody. 59 strikeouts in those 45 innings. Like a splitter right there. So he definitely could help a pennant contender.
Well, we just saw what Jason Frazier and Mark Zepchinski, Octavio Dotel, what they would bring in a trade at this time. Fastball on the outside corner, just 90 miles an hour, but well placed by Uehara. 2 outs.
Savvy veteran. Had Travis Snyder thinking about that split or that breaking ball, and he slips a fastball right by him. Just cannot pull the trigger, and Travis knew it.
Two down. 7th inning, J.P. Arancibia. Arancibia is 1 for 2. He walked, doubled, and drove in 2. Ball on the strike. Arancibia is 3rd on the Blue Jays in RBI. Trails only Bautista and Lynn. Pretty good production. First year, obviously getting used to the league. He's had a lot of ups and downs and gone through long stretches where he has had tough times at the plate. This time he drives this one into the gap in left center, and that's going to split the outfielders and go all the way to the wall. Arancibia is headed for second. His second double of the night comes with 2 outs here in the 7th.
You talk about production at the plate. Leads all AL catchers in home runs. Second in extra base hits. And this time here's another one. A nice easy swing, easy pop at the plate. He is on pace for 26 home runs, which would set a record for Blue Jay catchers.
Top of the order, Yunel Escobar has 2 hits tonight. He's 2 for 4. Goes after the first pitch and hits it into right field. Markakis jogs in, and Escobar's retired. Uehara gives up a 2-out double, and nothing more. Will go to the 8th. Frank Francisco coming into the ballgame. Hello, speed boost. Goodbye waiting. Another first only from Rogers.
Adam Lynn, the first baseman, is going to help out the Blue Jays with his glove tonight. Every other night it seems like he's back, but tonight he helps him out with that double play, snatching the ball out of the air and helping out his new teammate, P.J. Walters, complete the double play to end the 6th inning.
Lynn has done a very good job at first base, so much so that it's not been an issue. There was a time when you thought, well, we might have to have somebody to spell Lynn over at first. Frank Francisco comes out of the bullpen. Carlos Villanueva went 5. P.J. Walters went an inning. Casey Jansen goes an inning. Now Frank Francisco.
Last time Francisco pitched was the first day in this series. Just like Casey Jansen, an inning, no decision. He will pitch the 8th inning in front of John Roush now. Better fastball. He'll throw the splitter and he'll use it for a strikeout. They haven't taken away his curveball, but we just haven't seen as many curveballs from Francisco as last 2 times out. It's basically been hard stuff.
Fastball, splitter. And the fastball has been good. When you look at the way he has thrown of late, he's done a good job. Had a 1-2-3 inning on Tuesday. Had a very good inning of work, his only inning of work down in Texas when he struck out the side last Friday night in the 8th in that losing effort. Derek Lee will lead things off. Francisco, another reliever teams are scouting, looking for velocity, looking for command. Want to get a hot pitcher the last 2 months of the season to shore up your bullpen.
You were talking earlier today about 8th inning and 9th inning relievers being power guys. I agree with you. You need guys to come in and stop rallies in the 8th inning. You have to have a strikeout pitch, a go-to pitch, and Francisco has that.
Derek Lee, a long drive to left, but Travis Snyder is breaking it down right in front of the scoreboard. Lee's retired, first out of the 8th. Who has the most dominant 1-2 punch late in the game in the American League?
Well, Bard and Papelbon come to mind right away for me.
For me, that's the most potent 1-2 punch. Bard throws 100. Papelbon's right there with him.
And they have strikeout pitches.
Yeah. Swing and a miss pitches late in the game are important. If you come into a game in the 8th inning with a couple of guys on, you don't want the ball put into play. You want strikeouts.
Chances are you're going through the middle of the lineup, the better hitters that you have to get out to pick up the hold or the save. If Rafael Soriano was healthy for the New York Yankees, ball's lifted to left field by Wieters and tracked by Snyder for out number 2. If he's healthy and he teams with Mariano Rivera, that's pretty potent also.
Yeah. But he hasn't seemed to be real interested in pitching in the 8th inning. How about K-Rod and Axford in Milwaukee?
That's an interesting one. I know they've said they're going to split it.
Yeah.
Share the closer. That's when you start running into trouble, when you don't have defined rules. Daniel Bard knows he's the 8th inning guy. Papelbon in Boston knows he's the 9th inning guy.
Melvin Raimo goes after the first pitch. It's a playable pop-up. Lind at first base, fair territory, makes the catch. Just 6 pitches, and Frank's out of the 8th inning. Now it's time for a Jays Connected update. Jamie Campbell, Greg Zahn. Eastern time. That's with Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn on the pregame show. Brett Cecil will go to the mound. He'll be opposed by Alexio Gando, the hard-throwing right-hander, first of 3 against the Rangers. Brad Mills on the right of your screen will start on Saturday in the second game of that series against the very talented Derek Holland. Holland is just 22 years old. He's 9-4 and part of a terrific pitching staff.
Terrific matchup tomorrow also. Now into the pitch for the Orioles, Jim Johnson, the big right-hander. Look at those numbers, 259, 59 innings pitched. That is workhorse material. Jim Johnson leads American League relievers with those 59 innings pitched. 6'6", throws hard.
This is the kind of arm I was referring to for an 8th inning. Colby Rasmussen will have a test here. Rasmussen 0 for 4 in his Blue Jays debut. Jim Johnson's got a big arm and a late movement. 97, bottom of the knees. Johnson got his delivery all sorted out. He knew something wasn't right, but Rick Adair and Mark Connor, the former pitching coach, got him back on line in striding toward home plate and turned his season around. 3-pitch strikeout to start the 8th.
He's pretty nasty, and I talk to scouts, and they talk about bullpen help, and a lot of them have been asking about Jim Johnson. Watch the dramatic movement on that pitch. It looked like a changeup the way he was holding that pitch. Last couple of years, they've talked about him starting. They've also talked about him possibly closing games. A couple of years ago, he had 10 saves for Baltimore.
Bouncing ball up the third base line. That ball is going to stay fair. Bautista gets a swinging bunt base hit just inside the bag at third. Reynolds had no option. He had to let that ball roll. He was deep with Bautista's power.
Bounces it right off home plate. And once Reynolds figures out that he cannot make the play to throw him out, the only thing he can hope for is this ball to kick foul. But it stays right on that line and hits the bag for an infield single. Bautista's first hit of the night. Blue Jays 12th.
Adam Lind. Late on that fastball. Lind is 0 for 4. Average down to 287. Do you think Jim Johnson is more valuable as a starter or more valuable as a reliever?
You beat me to it. I was going to ask you that because I don't know. I think he's real good in this role right here, pitching late into a game. Give me everything you got, big boy, for 1 inning. His movement, his delivery, very deceptive. It's got to be hard for the batters to pick that up. Certainly has the size to be a starter.
Yeah, he's as big as Roy Halladay and has the same type of stuff. He wants to start, and they're probably going to give him an opportunity to start later on this year. But at the same time, he told Buck Showalter, if I'm going to stay in the bullpen, I want to be one of those guys that pitches 100 innings out of the pen. He said it's been a while since anybody's thrown 100 innings. He said, I'm healthy now. My delivery's cleaned up. I think I can be that type of dominant pitcher.
Starting wouldn't be new to him.
No.
He started in the minor leagues after he was picked in the 2001 draft by the Orioles.
Personally, I would start him. I would start him. He has enough variety of pitches. He's got power. He has learned how to command the strike zone. Ball is popped into left field. Nolan Reimold is camped under it. 2 outs. Texas Rangers, they see their lead diminishing in the American League West. The Angels are hot on their heels. Tomorrow night it'll be the big right-hander Alexio Gando having a fine first season as a starter. There's that Jim Johnson argument, starting and relieving. Argando 10-4. Brett Cecil, game 1. Derek Holland 9-4 against Brad Mills, 9-7 in AAA. C.J. Wilson, pretty good core of pitchers that Blue Jays are going to see over the weekend.
He was a reliever.
Yep.
He was a closer for the Texas Rangers.
And
C.J. Wilson. Yeah, very good one. The matchup tomorrow is a rematch of the game on Sunday in Texas when Brett Cecil shut out the Rangers.
Encarnacion hits it hard, but right at the third baseman, Mark Reynolds. So we'll go to the 9th inning. The Blue Jays lead at 8-4. Now for a preview of what's coming up on Connected, here's Brad Fay. Forget this Sunday, Roberto Alomar Hall of Fame Day. The Rangers will wrap up their 3-game series. The action starts at 1:07 p.m. Come down early as the Blue Jays are going to retire Roberto Alomar's number 12 before the game and honor his Hall of Fame induction. Call Blue Jays directly at 416-341-1234 for tickets. Log on to BlueJays.com. You can also pick up your tickets at Rogers Plus locations.
John Roush becomes the 5th pitcher for the Blue Jays tonight, trying to finish this one off. He picked up his 8th save in last night's ball game when the Blue Jays won that one. 2/3 of an innings, 8 for 12 in saves this year. That was his first save since June the 7th at Kansas City.
Roush and Francisco have done the majority of the work late in the game. Roush has 8 saves. Francisco has 10 saves. Dotel had a save before his departure. Sean Kemp has 1.
Roush also has 3 holds this year. Not a save opportunity here, just a chance to get some work and finish it off.
Nolan Reimel, the left fielder, pops it behind second. Hill is out. Thames coming on. He calls off Hill and makes the catch. 1 out in the top of the 9th. Blue Jays another good night at the plate. 8 runs on 12 hits. They've hit 2 more home runs tonight. Trevor Miller back with the Blue Jays, coming in the deal from St. Louis, getting some work in. Knock off the effects of that plane trip from St. Louis. Robert Andino, the second baseman. The Orioles will go from here to New York. They have a 3-game series against the Yankees. With the win tonight, the Jays will improve to 11-5 since they had that meltdown in Cleveland. Travis Hafner's grand slam, a walk-off home run. They bounced back very nicely from that.
It's one thing about this team that we've noticed all season long is they will grind. I think that's a testament to the young players sticking together and playing hard through the rest of the game. It's the only thing you really can control is how hard you play. And we haven't seen them give up at bats all year long.
Thursday, July 7th. Indians scored 5 runs in the bottom of the night. Robert Andino is caught looking at a Roush pitch on the inside corner. 2 outs here in the ninth.
When he's down, he's good. And this time, right at the bottom of the strike zone, Andino thinks it's under his knees. But Roush will pick up the strikeout. Out number 2. Just the 3rd strikeout tonight by Blue Jay pitching.
J.J. Hardy. He's had a big series. Had 2 homers in the opener. Drove in 4 runs in game 1. Then had a 4 strikeout night last night. Homered and doubled. Drove in a run and scored 2 tonight. John Roush trying to wrap it up for Carlos Villanueva. Ball is driven to left field. High, deep, gone. What a series for J.J. Hardy. They're going to have to drag him out of town. He's not going to want to leave this ballpark.
Easy power. When you watch him swing in this series, 4 homers in this series and 4 strikeouts. 3rd hit tonight, 3rd extra base hit tonight. Watch how easily he pulls his hands in, drops the barrel of the bat on the baseball. One thing I like about his swing as his arms are moving back, the bat really flattens out. He's got a very short swing plane to the baseball.
What a series J.J. Hardy has had. 2 more home runs tonight, 4 in the series. Jim Presley, the hitting coach, been pleased with the power that the Orioles have shown. Nick Markakis, a sharp 2-hopper. That should do it. Hill to Lynn, and the Blue Jays have won. John Roush finishes it off. Carlos Villanueva picked up the win. Blue Jays move back over 500. Colby Rasmus in his first game with the Blue Jays celebrates a Blue Jay win. Big night for Edwin Encarnacion.
Villanueva, Walters, Jansen, Francisco, and then Roush finishing it off. Eric Thames with a home run. Colby Rasmus gets his first Blue Jay game under his belt. It's a win, and John Roush finishes it off. Sean Farrell's team goes back over 500 at 53 and 52.
So the Blue Jays win the series. They take 2 of the 3 games. We'll be back tomorrow night. First of 3 against Texas. Now it's time for a Jays Connected preview. Jamie Campbell.